Times Now special broadcast. In today's episode of Inside Karnataka, we discuss about the upcoming BBMP election. What do these polls mean for the citizens of Silicon City? What's at stake for the political parties? We give you all these details and much more in the next half an hour of this special broadcast.
Bengaluru, the capital city of Karnataka, has a robust culture of civic activism. It's also an IT hub and in many ways a symbol of the vast strides India has made in the last few decades in the field of technology. It's a cosmopolitan city attracting talent from all parts of the country, a huge recipient of foreign investment, and a place that also stands out for its pleasant weather and greenery. But there are serious questions to be asked of the city's civic governance. Is Bengaluru's infrastructure really commensurate with its status as an international city? What of those tasked with the responsibility of ensuring an efficient municipal administration? Why is it that Bengaluru continues to be afflicted by serious civic apathy, not on the part of its citizens, but its administrators?
When it comes to the BBMP elections, and of course with the elections around the corner, we definitely have to talk about politics, and we have. But what are the core issues that plague the BBMP? What are the problems that the Bangaloreans really want addressed? To talk more about this, I have two prominent Bengalurians here with me. Srinivas, who's a very prominent civic activist from Bengaluru with Janagra at the moment. Also Ian Faria, life coach, and also a very popular face in the city. Thank you to both of you all for joining us on this special broadcast. Firstly to you, Srinivas, what are the biggest issues that plague the BBMP and Bengaluru?
Deepak, the depends on who you ask. Bengaluru now has 1.4 crore population. Our own Janagraha survey shows that water, for example, is a big issue for the poor, whereas water is not at all issue for the rich. Footpaths are a common issue across rich, poor, men, women, age group, younger, older people. Traffic, everyone thinks traffic is a big problem, but only for the rich people. Not so much for the lower middle class and the poor people. Traffic doesn't feature as a big issue. The development of Bengaluru has become unequal. We found out that 97% of people know the name of the Prime Minister. 89% could name the Chief Minister. Not even 13% could name the last mayor of Bengaluru. So that reflects the overall understanding citizens have about city governance itself, the third tier of governance. So their lack of understanding that such a thing exists translate into lack of participation in the elections itself. So if we create more awareness that BBMP is not some agency that does some work, but we actually have an elected representative there.
So has brand Bengaluru been affected? While we have these sort of fancy roads coming up and all of that, but the traffic is a perennial problem. Potholes is still leading to loss of lives.
I think Bangalore is definitely affected, and in a major way. And what I find is, see, unless we choose good leaders, all of us can have the best of ideas, but somebody has to give the instruction to get the idea enacted, right? But we need to go and click the button there for the electorate. I think that's a civic responsibility all of us should have. And I don't think we have it. Like he was quoting just now, 40-50% electorate coming to vote, that's really pathetic. We need to make a noise. We need to go out there and be noticed. But if we want to just make phone calls and say the phone is busy all the time, it's not going to cut it. So get out there, show your face, stop using social media for everything. Everything is not solved on social media or messages to PM.
The Brihat Bengaluru Mahanagara is an elected body, but the council elections have not been held for a year, and there have been reasons for this.
The garden city of Bengaluru, or the Silicon City of Bengaluru, however you may call it, has changed quite a bit in the last few years. We've seen the city grow in terms of population and also in terms of size, and with it, the issues plaguing the city especially have increased quite a bit and changed dramatically. Now, up until now, there have been 198 wards where the BBMP elections have been contested. This time, however, there are multiple changes that we are going to see in how the elections are going to be fought. Firstly, there's going to be 243 seats up for grabs. Then, of course, comes the issue of the delimitation, where the wards have been reshaped, and some of them say that it's going to favor some political parties and some of them stand at a disadvantage. Also, the reservation factor is something that's going to be keenly looked at when these elections are fought. So with all of these dynamics involved, which party stands to gain and which stands to lose? Well, take a look for yourselves. the delimitation exercise, this is something that, many Congress leaders in the past, including you, have raised and said that it's going to be massive disadvantage for, the opposition in particular. Could you explain to our viewers, how do you think this is an, exercise that is going to not benefit you or rather benefit the BJP?
So it's not about whether it benefits the opposition or the Congress party or not. It is about whether it will benefit the city as a whole. Okay. So our problem is not only with the delimitation exercise, our problem was with the act itself, the way the act is formulated. With a 243 member council, we feel that the 198 member council itself was a burden on the city. Such a large city with such a huge organization like BBMP cannot solve and take care of Bangalore's problem. Bangalore is very complex and dynamic, So we actually wanted it to be scientifically done. So the BJP lost an opportunity by bringing an act, a new act, which doesn't help the Bangalore city, one. And according to that act, they have done the delimitation. With this structure of BBMP, this is a burden rather than a relief for the people of Bangalore. Okay. They cannot manage, forget about big things, they can't even fill potholes. How do you expect this BBMP to give relief to Bangalore city, the residents here, and protect the brand of Bangalore which the Congress party created? It's an international brand. We have created a silicon city in this part of the world. It is the Congress party which created it. How do we protect this? We need to see it scientifically. You cannot handle Bangalore city politically.
We've discussed a host of issues pertaining to the BBMP and Bengaluru. Now it's time to get some answers. To get these answers, I have an MLA who's fought for decades. Elections, of course, has meant a cakewalk for him, especially in the constituency he fights from. Dr. Ashwath Narayan, the Minister for Higher Education and ITBT, joins us on this special broadcast. For Bengalurians, on the streets, it's not a pleasant experience. This is the complaint that comes in time and again, sir. And now you'll have to give us some answers, since you're here with us on this show, as to when are Bengalurians going to be assured of safer roads, better infrastructure, which has been a long-standing demand of Bengalurians.
Deepak, basically, our government, consistently we are trying to address the concern of the people of the Bangalore. Probably we have many challenges. If you look at the challenges, there's a ever-increasing population of people as well as the vehicle. And in this context, we do have a lot of environmental and weather challenges also. But even with all these challenges, we address many of the concerns of the Bangalore with regard to the roads. Already the asphalting has started across the city. Many of the potholes have been filled and asphalting has started across the city. The entire 13,000 kilometers of the Bangalore city will be completely asphalted, and it will be redone, and it will be ensured that the people of Bangalore can be safe and can be really happy with regard to the infrastructure or the roads on which they travel.
How much does the state have interest in the BBMP? Because it's a big corporation, there's a lot of money involved. Each year a lot of money is put by the state government in its budget for the BBMP. But why is there, so much control over this particular body?
Yeah, definitely in this direction, 73 and 74 amendment was brought. The 74 amendment, gives much more powers to the corporation local bodies, and they will be empowered to take much more responsibility to address the civic and utility issues in the city. They've been given a lot of responsibility, and along with the responsibility, they should be given much more powers.
What is the plan of the BJP for the next 5 years if you win the BBMP election next time around? What are you going to assure? If you could give us an idea of that.
Yeah, in this direction, we are trying to scale up the entire infrastructure of the city of Bangalore. Along with that, walkable footpaths, drinking water. Drinking water also, the 5th phase also has been started and probably will be ending within the December of this year. And all the areas across the city of Bangalore, all of them will be provided with Kaveri drinking water. That's the most necessary and needful. In all the 243 wards, we are very confident we'll get more than 2/3 of the majority. And people are with us, and Bharatiya Janata Party per se and our BJP government has been always pro-people.
BBMP elections are aggressively fought, as municipal elections in different parts of the country routinely are. But the larger question is, irrespective of the party that is in power in the BBMP, the problems continue to recur. Principal among them is that of potholes.
Now, several experts believe that the ruling government has an edge when it comes to the local body elections. But can that be said about the BBMP elections coming up? That's the question. Now, the issues as far as Bengaluru are concerned, they have been perennial. Even when the Congress was in power, there have been issues that have been plaguing the city, and the similar issues, in fact, continue even under the current dispensation. So is it time really for a new entrant like the Aam Aadmi Party to come play spoilsport is the question that comes up.
In its submissions before the Karnataka High Court, the BBMP has identified 847 kilometers of stretches in Bengaluru where the pothole problem is endemic. Now this is almost 61% of road stretches in the city. The Karnataka High Court has repeatedly warned the civic authorities of initiating contempt proceedings for not filling up potholes in time. The BBMP has claimed that rupees 6,768 crores have been spent between 2018 and 2021 for the construction and repair of major and subprime roads in the city. But potholes continue to kill. On the 18th of August, 44-year-old Supreet Raj was riding his two-wheeler but lost his life while trying to avoid a pothole at Sunkadakatte Road in Bengaluru. And in a travesty of justice, a callous state administration filed an FIR against him, punishing him even in death by slapping sections pertaining to rash and negligent driving.
There is a case which has been registered and in the Badreli police station. We have filed a case. It was a self-accident. That's what they said, and then they have actually taken an FIR. The roads, in fact, further down the train, the same road, you should see the road is even more pathetic. They have very, very worst, badly managed. I don't know, the local engineer, whoever is actually there, he has to be sacked. And the BBMP authorities who are there, see, they are round the corner. There is an election coming in. They will now come for all kind of promotions and then getting votes and all that. Now, who is going to be responsible for this family now? Now they have lost a breadwinner. Who is going to be the responsible for this? I don't know. This is going to be seriously taken, and we're going to take a serious action against the BBMP and the local authorities.
Right now, I'm at Sunkadakatte Road, where the incident took place on August 18th, whereas a 44-year-old man, while coming back after dropping his daughter to college in this road, whereas you can see right now I'm standing in this spot where the incident took place. While he was coming this way, he tripped and fell inside this pothole, and he was badly injured on his head. The locals immediately rushed him to the nearby hospital. He passed away on August 22nd due to this.
As we delve deeper into issues of the BBMP, the elections, the politics around it, one needs to really understand how the entire body functions, and how better than to speak to the chief of the body himself. I have Mr. Tushar Giranath here with me, who is the Chief Commissioner of the BBMP. What are the issues that you see that prevent the body from functioning to its full potential? What are the challenges that you feel that if there are 10 issues in a day, why isn't the BBMP able to complete all of it in a single day or in a single month or within the time frame?
See, the scope of work which is entrusted to a urban local body is so huge that it is not possible to attend all the work on the same day. So it is not humanly possible. But there are daily tasks which have to be attended on the same day. Like every day the waste is being generated. We look after the solid waste because we have a different body for the sewage, which is called Bengaluru Water Supply and Sewerage Board. And the roads as they are, with surface whatsoever is available, is made motorable on a daily basis. And if they say, that is why we do a lot of emphasis on pothole filling, keeping them clean, and seeing that there are less of obstruction to the traffic.
So where are the challenges that you really face?
In this, the challenges are that our systems are not so automated that we find out in real time and replace suppose in the morning an auto tipper doesn't come. We are not having such quick response to replace it with another auto tipper. We have to do that. Then pothole filling. We have to involve our citizens also in that identification of potholes. But the current machinery, which has been given some gadgets, etc., to locate and put the potholes, they are so less in number. I mean, the person who are going and clicking, they are so less in number that there is a constraint of resources.
So the pothole menace still continues to haunt Bengalurians, and is there like a solution to this perennial problem?
It is an unfortunate incident, and any life lost is a great loss. But an FIR has been lodged on that issue,
But the
And
FIR
we will-
says, it was rash driving on the part of the driver.
So the
On the
FIR,
rider.
once an FIR is lodged, an investigation is going on. It is not correct for anybody to comment as to who was responsible. So far as the bigger question is concerned, that the roads have to be made motorable and should be ready for the safe and non-hazardous type of condition should be there whenever. So there are two things. When we undertake a work, it should not be a hazardous situation. It should be a safe working condition. So when many times when the agencies are breaking the road for taking up either laying of lines or laying of pipes, etc., there is a problem because during that period our roads being so heavily stressed, we have no other alternate road to use. That when the work is going on, people are also moving. So the minimum width is being put for the work. In those circumstances, sometimes the unsafe situations may arise, and it has happened few times. And we, all of us, ourselves and all agencies are taking care that such things do not happen. Post that, the maintenance of road is our responsibility, and till the time the work is happening, the agency is supposed to restore. But in case of BWSSB, there are 110 villages where the incident what you are telling may have happened. So those places are there where the BWSSB has not made an estimate for repairing the road, and we are also repairing the roads to the extent that till the time the asphalting is done, there is shown no such mishap. If the mishap happens, it is unfortunate and it is our responsibility, but we are not talking about this incident.
There have been several other incidents as well. A video has gone viral of a woman falling off her two-wheeler after colliding with a pothole in another part of Bengaluru near the Kasturi Nagar Outer Ring Road.
It was a usual day for me to office. Like I was doing a ramp up, climbing a ramp up, and suddenly I saw a lady just skidded and fallen down. Instantly I realized there was a pothole, and because of that she has fallen down. So I immediately rushed to the spot. So I switched off my car, so dash cam also stopped there. I believe that there was no fracture, but she was badly bruised, and it was pretty bad fall. So it felt pretty bad to see a person falling not because of his fault, right, and because of the infrastructure issues, right. So it's like, it's not her fault, nothing of her fault. She was just going in a road. She believed that the roads are good, but the roads are bad, and not because of her fault she has fallen down. I'm not sure who is going to be responsible, who can take responsibility for this, right?
And no part of the city is immune from the pothole threat, and this includes the roads near the Legislative Assembly, the Vidhan Soda and the Raj Bhavan where the governor resides.
We are just off Millers Road heading towards Chalokya Circle in Bengaluru, and here you can see right opposite the BWSSB office a huge crater of sort that has come up, and it's not very clear what's the reason for this, but you can see what it has led to is a huge traffic pile-up, because pots have been put up to ensure that the commuters don't really move onto this particular stretch, which could lead to, of course, hazardous consequences. And almost half of the road has been used up, which is funneling traffic to one side and causing a lot of inconvenience. We've seen a lot of pothole menace in Bengaluru. Now, what's the reason for this and what is the excuse the officials are going to give is something that's going to be interesting to note.
The elections for the BBMP will be taking place in the build-up to the Legislative Assembly elections next year. The Aam Aadmi Party, which is seeking to expand its presence across the country, is eyeing Karnataka as well and has big plans for the BBMP polls.
Up until now, we've been speaking about, the BJP, the Congress, about their fight in the upcoming BBMP polls, the issues that plague the city. But this time around, there's, of course, a new entrant to the BBMP elections and the entire scenario itself. That's the Aam Aadmi Party, which has, of course, made its mark in Delhi, Punjab, and also looking to make a major mark in Gujarat. Can they do it in Bengaluru? That's the question that we're going to ask the president and the vice president of the party, and of course Mr. Prithvi Reddy and the former top cop of Bengaluru, Mr. Bhaskar Rao, joining us. Thank you all. We're having a cup of coffee here near Jayanagar. It feels good under the Bangalore, weather conditions at this point in time. But
You're
how are you?
best coffee in Bangalore.
Absolutely. But how are you all feeling? BBMP elections around the corner.
Very upbeat. Looking forward to the elections.
Both of you feel that this time around, Aam Aadmi Party first time contesting BBMP elections. Well, the assembly elections haven't, probably gone down the way you wanted, considering the momentum last time around was there with the Aam Aadmi Party after Delhi. What new are you going to be planning or strategizing this time around?
So Deepak, it's important to remember that until the 10th of March, across the country, people believed that the Aam Aadmi Party was the good guys. They were doing good work, but they could not beat the corrupt criminal system. After the 10th of March and the huge victory in Punjab, not just 92 out of 117 seats, but 82 of those people were fighting their first elections. So we've become a ray of hope for the entire country. And I believe for the people of Bangalore, they didn't have an alternative choice. There were three parties, but only one kind of politics. And I think today, these elections are going to be between the traditional politics and the alternative politics, pro-people, honest governance of the Aam Aadmi Party.
Well, one issue that I keep looking at when it comes to the Aam Aadmi Party or something that's flagged off, and political parties now, both the Congress and the BJP somewhere are wary about what the Aam Aadmi Party is doing. But one thing that makes them somewhere sit back and feel confident that do they really have a cadre base working on the ground? Mr. Rao, if you could tell us, how are you change that scenario? Because when you go out there, do you have a prominent face as a corporator? Do you have cadres who will work to generate that, votes or make them come to the booth? That's the question.
See, Aam Aadmi Party has always been present in Bangalore for over 6 to 7 years, and people are aware of the various protests, various attention-drawing activities which Aam Aadmi Party has done. And especially last 1 year, a very good cadre has started getting created by way of good people supporting us. Not everybody who is going to be working on the streets are part. We have a huge silent support base who are at home and say that don't come, we are going to vote for you, because we are disgusted with this JCB, Janata Party, Janata Dal, Congress and the Bharatiya Janata Party. And with every day, the way Bangalore is being run, with potholes, bad footpaths, chaotic traffic.
You've been a part of, the administration, so what is the solution you feel? Where does it lie?
The solution is grassroots leadership.
I just wanted to add, Deepak, you see the opposition in Karnataka have been completely absent in the past 3 years. Whether it's during COVID, whether it was protesting against the potholes, rain-affected areas, flooded areas, for every issue, it has been the Aam Aadmi Party which has hit the street.
So are you all going to expect Mr. Kejriwal to come here for BBMP polls?
He was already here in April. He will definitely come here for the BBMP polls. But it's not the photograph of Arvind Kejriwal, but the work that the Aam Aadmi Party under the leadership of Kejriwal that people will vote for. Not for an individual, but for the work.
In the upcoming BBMP elections, it definitely looks like the two main political parties, the BJP and the Congress, look like the front runners to take control over this mammoth civic agency, the BBMP. But with the perennial issues that plague the city, are the citizens really ready to give them another chance is the question that comes up. Well, that's all we have in this episode of Inside Karnataka. Do keep watching, and next week, of course, we'll bring you yet another interesting episode. Until then, stay tuned to Times Now.